Yeah, look, Friday night, the Wanderers against the Roar. I would imagine that Wanderers would be warm favourites among most people. They've got the home ground advantage. They've obviously got the sellout crowd, so the atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric. But, you know, they'll be wary of Brisbane Roar because apart from the pedigree of the Roar, which is obviously the championships the last 2 years, the last 6 to 8 weeks, the Roar have looked like the Roar of old. And we can't forget it's actually a different Brisbane Roar side. There's a significant difference in the centre of defence, for example. So you've got to credit Mike Mulvey with the way he's got that team working. And they were very, very impressive against Adelaide last week. So, look, while the Wanderers will be confident, I would say they'd be quietly confident. The talk going into the game is about Thomas Broich. Will he play? Will he not play? Obviously, I'd imagine he'll be given right up until kick-off to determine that. He is a massive influence if he does play. Interesting, not a lot of talk about the other injury, which is Jack Hingett. And what the absence of Jack Hingett will do will take Ivan Franjic back to right fullback, and that does leave Brisbane very short on that right side. Probably Ben Halloran will come in there. So I think in a lot of ways that's something that Brisbane will be very, very disappointed about, losing Ivan Franjic in that new attacking role, which has been so productive for him. So the Wanderers, you know, we hear from Tony Popovich, it's a full deck of cards to choose from. You know, great competition for places, very settled team. And they've got that consistency of selection, which is so important. So, look, the Wanderers are favourites, there's no doubt about that. But are they big favourites, warm favourites, or lukewarm favourites? I'd probably describe them as lukewarm favourites. Interesting game, Central Coast Mariners Melbourne victory. Interesting because obviously the Mariners got those back-to-back games in the ACL that they've had to deal with, all the travel and I guess rotation of the squad. Graham Arnold's selection for the midweek game against the Guizhou tells me that he's got his focus very much on this game, the victory game. He talks about first past the post endlessly, Arnie, about how important it is, but, you know, this selection and the way he's left 6 or 7 of his most experienced players behind to prepare for the victory game tells me that he is pretty hungry to win the championship for the first time. And of course, you don't get the championship unless you win the grand final. So a lot of focus on this game from Graham Arnold. Home ground advantage again. I'm really hoping to see a decent crowd at Blue Tongue because one of the disappointments, if you like, of the Mariners in their history in finals games is that the crowds haven't turned up as much as I would have hoped. So let's hope there's a big crowd at Blue Tongue. The occasion deserves it. The Mariners are a better side than Melbourne Victory. There's no question about that. There's no question the Victory are lucky to be in this game. They were outplayed by the Glory for long periods of the elimination final. They look pretty beaten up at the end of that game as well, and Ange Postecoglou will be mindful of their physical condition going into this game. Mariners definitely favourites. To me, much warmer favourites to get through this game as the Wanderers are in the other game.